turned us on, now we're gonna do the same for you.
What's up, guys? It's Donna here.
And Holly.
And you're listening to Teaser Talk.
On switch, turned us on, now we're gonna do the same. You hit the on switch, turned us on, now we're gonna do the same for you. With these power lines.
What's up, everyone? We have someone you might know as one of the greats when it comes to drumming in the metal industry. However, he recently has announced that he's a front man to a new band, and I am super excited to talk about this. Welcome, Jeremy Spencer.
Hey, thank you.
So let's catch up. Oh my gosh, you've had a lot going on, but first, I know back in 2018, you had surgery on your back, really kind of putting pause on things for a while. How are you doing? How's all that stuff going?
Great. Once I left the band, I basically kind of went into surgery a few months later, and it was a setback. It was a really tough surgery, and I was kind of depressed for a while because I was just physically kind of limited and almost immobilized, and I couldn't just have normal life even. So it was a struggle to kind of work through that, but I'm all healed. I'm working with a trainer again, and my back feels much better than it did before I went into surgery. So I'm very happy with the result, even though going under a surgery like that is pretty brutal.
That is great to hear. I know obviously it seems like, we all saw like your journey through it, but I can only relate and had no idea that you had depression and stuff. That's crazy. I'm glad that you're fully recouped and everything's rocking and rolling for you. So you have been super busy even after all that. What have you been up to since 2008 minus the back surgery?
Well, I have a new band that I started called Psychosexual. I kind of launched the project officially last week, and lots of good positive feedback so far, but I'm singing for the band. I have a character that I've developed where I call myself Devil Daddy, and I dress up as the devil. If you've seen any photos or videos or whatever online, that's the look. So it's a lot of fun, and it's been something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but I finally launched it and got it off the ground.
That's super exciting. And I know like the whole sound is considered, I would say, a little different than what your fans are probably currently used to. So what kind of like influenced you to kind of go down that path of making music that has that dark and industrial sound?
Well, I'm a fan of it, but I'm a fan of so many different types of music. I did some solo records already where it was actually kind of more even new wave, 80s flavored, but when it was time to put the band together, I wanted to make it darker and heavier. So that's kind of the sound we're going with. Like, I was fans of bands like Type O Negative and, obviously Marilyn Manson and things like that. So it's kind of like just a hybrid of some of my favorite things with my own touch and own spin on it.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was about to say. Is like, I feel like it's definitely showcasing your personality. And for anyone who follows you, it's just kind of like, it makes sense. It's no surprise the direction of music that you went with.
Yeah. And, the whole record isn't like that. It's not all industrial flavored, but there are elements of that. But it's certainly dark, and I'm proud of the record. It's done. We made the record a few months ago. It's been done now, and we're already working on some more material, but I can't wait to launch it, and I just don't know when it's coming out yet, but that would be something that I will be announcing whenever the time is right. I'm glad to finally be sharing something with the public. It's been, when you're sitting on something and you're excited to release it and you can't, and you're like, oh, damn it, I just want to get this out already. But now it's happening.
I love it. That's super exciting. So would you say that Devil Daddy is like an alter ego of yours?
I guess kind of, I was like, what's this dude going to look like that's singing these songs? I didn't want to I just didn't think it looked right as a normal guy. It needed to be a theatrical kind of crazy, visually stimulating thing to look at. Cause I'm a fan of bands like Kiss and Ghost and theatrical stuff, so I wanted to kind of make it fun for people to watch, especially when we start doing shows.
I love it. And, it's funny because it's like, let's kind of talk about like the whole alter ego type thing because you guys actually dropped some videos or some music previously. Was it last year? Let's kind of talk on how that went, and then now you're just formally announcing as the front man.
Yeah, that was actually just me doing solo stuff. And I kind of put a little bit of it out, and I was saying that it was my cousin that was the singer, because you couldn't tell. It was under a prosthetic and makeup, and and people were like, "Are you sure? That kind of looks like you." And I'm like, "No, it's not me." But I helped write the music and I produced it and all this stuff. But because I was going to keep it anonymous, I always thought that was cool when Kiss was anonymous, or Ghost. They, for years they were anonymous, and but I was at the same time like, it's just too much work to try to hide all the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and announce it. I put a band together, and then we made this heavier record. So I was like, okay, let's just don't be anonymous. So
That's funny.
Everyone kind of knows.
I think because it's also like the caliber of like your status now. Like if you were kind of starting out and no one exactly knew who you were, you might be able to get away with it. But I think that people are like, wait a minute, like this is everything kind of aligns up to like his personality. And if he was to do anything, it would be this. So yeah, I saw that too. And I was thinking, he's not fooling anyone.
Yeah. First, totally, yeah. And they were like, well, how you guys have the same dentist then, because you look alike.
That's awesome. So obviously this isn't your first rodeo. You've done acting, directing, obvious music for years. Needless to say, you're a super talented guy. I am curious though, like how does that transition feel from being, a drummer in a band to being the front man in a band?
Well, we haven't really toured yet, so I don't know how that will go, but I think it's going to be fine. I mean, I'm not really freaked out to be on stage. We played some of the biggest stages there is, when I was with Five Fingers. So I think it's going to be less wear and tear on my back, which is nice.
Yeah, I bet.
But, it's just, to me, it's fun. It's exciting because it's different and it's something new for me. I mean, I've done so much of touring as a drummer and throughout my life that this is like, it's brand new again. So I get to experience something for the first time, which is exciting.
That is super exciting. I know it's going to be like, you're a businessman. You understand the whole, not even just the chaos that comes with tour, but also the business perspective from it too. So, but I'd be just kind of curious whenever you guys do go on tour to kind of check up, and maybe we can do a catch up episode just to see how life is, because, regardless, you're used to it. It's not your first rodeo, but I feel like it would definitely have some kind of different, I don't know, vibe to it, especially since it was like, you co-founded Five Finger, but it's like, this is your deal. So that's super exciting.
It is. Yeah. I just can't wait to show people a fun show, I've always been a fan of big, cool shows, and we're going to try to do as much as we can, even starting out, I mean, it's just, you do what you can with where you play. You're limited on if you can have fire in certain places, but we're going to do our best to bring a cool show.
I can't wait for it. It's going to be definitely like a freak show type vibe. I can already feel it. That's awesome.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So have you been planning to drop all this during this time before the whole COVID thing happened? Or did you kind of see this as a perfect time to announce everything?
I wasn't really sure when I was going to drop it. I kind of thought, well, I want to drop a single at some point fairly soon, but then COVID happened, and I'm like, oh, I'm not waiting until this is over. People need music. They're at home on the internet now more than ever. So let's just give them some music and let's just get this going. So I did.
Yeah, for sure. So I think right now everyone's attention is like, they can't, be in large groups and like music and stuff like that. So it's like everyone's attention's towards social media. It's towards, streaming music, live streaming music, however the case may be. It's interesting to see, because like I'm kind of sitting back and watching how these artists are doing, because the model. It's like you got to tour to support the album, and right now obviously there's no tours going on, so it's it's interesting to see how people are doing, like tip jars on Facebook Lives, or on their Instagram they're doing like lives with tip jars, and they're pinning it to where people can go through and support these people who haven't made it just to the point yet where they're comfortable living, but they've got to, have to have some kind of income coming in. So it's kind of cool to see how people are utilizing this time to really like be strategic and, stay in front of people instead of, people getting like, bum, I was supposed to see them, in Dallas this month. And instead of saying that, now they're able to see them and share with them. So it's kind of cool how everyone's pivoting. So speaking of COVID, I know obviously tours are on hold, but you've already mentioned that there's, some kind of anticipation of tours. When everything opens back up, who would you be looking to tour with?
Well, I think a good fit would be a band like Ghost, personally. I love them. I think they're great, and it's obviously a theatrical thing, and so are we. So I think that would be a fun tour. But obviously, you got to work your way up to get on tours like that, and hopefully at some point that'll happen. But I think we're just going to get out there any way we can. We have to earn our stripes just like any other band. Doesn't matter if I've been in a band before that had some success or not. This is a new thing, and we have to earn our stripes. So I'm ready to get out in any way we can. I'm working on some stuff now, so hopefully we can get out sooner than later.
Oh, I love that you have that kind of not entitled mindset, like where you're not like, oh, I'm too good to be doing this or doing that. You understand that it's new to the scene and you've got to earn it. That's super cool to hear you say that.
Yeah, I don't like people that think that that they're entitled. I never got that. Like, to me, everyone should just work for what they have. To me, that's just how I was kind of raised.
For sure. Cause for those who aren't familiar with your story, it's not like you were handed a silver spoon in your mouth when it comes to the music industry. You busted your ass to make a name for yourself and to, go from, I'm sure, playing in like random little dive bars to sold out shows. It's just interesting to kind of see like from all that you went through, all the whole like rock and roll lifestyle to now being sober and kind of you have fun obviously, but you also have that business perspective too. So it'd be very interesting to watch as this band progresses up to bigger things for sure.
Yeah. I learned a lot from that situation in Death Punch. We finally, you kind of learn what not to do as you go along. We had no idea what we were doing. We were a band that just wanted to put out a record and hopefully gather some fans and play shows, and it just started catching on and getting bigger. So we were kind of learning as we went, and we kind of learned what not to do as long as what to do. And there was definitely highs and lows and ups and downs and all that good stuff. I wouldn't trade any of it because it really helped mold me to where I am now. I'm very happy, and I'm just ready for the next chapter, and I'm excited again, like a kid. It's new for me, which is great.
That's so cool to hear. And, speaking of like past experiences, what are you doing differently, or what can you share with us as far as like record deals and like who you're signing with? Can you give us some details on that?
Well, yeah, I'm going to license my record. I have my own little record label, and I'm just going to put it out as an imprint through another label. I'm not for sure which yet, but I firmly believe that artists should own their masters. I paid for my record. I don't need somebody to just take my master and own it. So
Yeah.
That's one thing I won't be doing. I did that before in the previous band, and it's not the smartest way to go about it. A lot of people don't own their masters, but I think they should, and that's what I'm going to do with this.
I love it. That's super exciting. I remember when all that chaos went, and that's definitely good that you learned lessons from that and not just turned around and play victim, or, you turned it into something that you can use knowledge-wise moving forward. So you guys have your single out right now, Let the Sin Begin, and you also dropped the video as well. Let's kind of talk about that. It's a very theatrical video. Is that something we can kind of expect more when it comes to future video releases and then obviously like tours and things like that?
Yeah, I don't know how much of a circus it will be like that video. There were a lot of people involved, and to take that many people out would be, pretty logistically tough. But there are going to be, we've made 5 videos already, so they're pretty interesting. I'll say that. There's definitely some freak stuff going on, and some sexiness happening. dark imagery, probably some controversial imagery, which is, that's fun. That's fine. But yeah, people can expect more of the same crazy for the stuff that's coming out in the future.
I love it. So, you obviously that single's out. When can we expect more for your singles to be dropped, or even the album? I know you said you're not exactly sure, but do you kind of have like an anticipated time frame within like the end of this year, maybe next year?
I'm definitely trying to get it out this year. That's my target. And I'll probably be dropping another song, maybe in another month or so. Don't know if it'll be considered an official single, but I just want to get more material out. So we're going to put something out probably next month.
For sure. Keep riding that wave of, people are catching on to it and listening to it for sure. You don't want to leave us hanging for those out there who are enjoying the music. So I know that there's obviously a lot of uncertainty going on. It's unclear when things are going to be fully back to quote unquote normal, but what do you have in store for the rest of us for the rest of 2020?
Well, we're actually doing a live in quarantine filming. It's kind of, we're filming us playing live, and then obviously I'll post it later. It won't be just live as it goes, but that's coming up later this week. We're going to shoot like 3 songs live, and we got a little stage set up that we have access to here in Vegas, and we're going to shoot 3 songs live. And we're actually putting the finishing touches on a cover EP. So like we'll release the album first, and then probably the cover EP. And we're going to also start working on the second record. I think now's the time to just get as much material in the can as possible, because once touring opens back up, we're going to be doing a lot of that if, I have it my way. So I would like to be able to just not have to stop that momentum of touring to make records and stuff whenever there's so much time available to actually create. Let's just do that right now.
100%. So for those people, you're kind of, I know we've already talked about this, you're kind of recreating a brand new thing. What advice would you give to other bands out there that are obviously they don't have the past experience that you have? What advice would you give to those starting out as a band, or maybe they're trying to keep relevant right now? What advice would you give to them?
Well, you just have to, first and foremost, believe in your stuff and keep writing as much as you can. Develop that skill. Develop that tool. Write. Because, not everything is going to be something that you knock over the fence, but just the more you keep doing it, the better you're going to develop that muscle. And you just can't stop. You just got to figure out ways to get your music out there. There's so many ways now. The internet's made it available for every person to have their music heard. There's companies that can help market. But everyone does it themselves pretty much these days. It's all about content. Get as much content out as possible on a regular basis. It's different than when Death Punch started. The internet was obviously happening, but it wasn't like it is now, where every band they can put out a single like constantly, and Spotify wasn't around back then, stuff like that, but now it is. So anyone can get their music heard. So it's just about repetition and doing it as much as possible.
That's so good. And, you make a great point too, because it's like a lot of people, they are wanted to do it themselves and do everything themselves because of usually budget restrictions, obviously, but it's also identifying too. It's like strong suits in the band. And then what we can't do, then you delegate that out, because the last thing you want to do is have a stellar, maybe sound or stellar look, and then half-ass, something else to where it discredits the whole entire look or vibe that people are going for, especially when it comes to creating characters. I think that's very important that people understand that.
Yep.
Very cool. So before I let you go, I know obviously you have a shit ton going on, and super excited about all that. Where is the best place for people to go in and keep on top of announcements that you've got going on, and as well as the band?
We're on every social platform: Instagram, Psychosexual Official, Twitter, same thing, and Facebook is, what is that? It's just Psychosexual. So we have a website too, psychosexualmusic.com. But go to Instagram, you can find it there, or just Google us. We're not hard to find. You'll see the crazy dude that looks like the devil.
I love it. Well, Jeremy, I appreciate your time today and super stoked to see that you're back in the music industry.
Thank you so much. I getting me on.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Teaser Talk.
We look forward to seeing you next Teaser Talk Tuesday. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Teaser Talk. This way we can keep up with you guys until the next episode.